After he said he'd meet the elder brother's expectations, the scene then changes to a cup of water shaking violently on a table as cold air gathers around it. Suddenly it explodes into ice, surprising Eugene and Estine. He confusedly looks at it and asks what shape is that. But Estine is only happy that he's finally succeeded in freezing it. He says yes, but he's not sure if this can be called a success. It's hard to grow ice without water, and it doesn't really take the shape he wants. Estine assures him that it's always like that at first. Also, the shape is due to the influence of the terra feline, which amplifies the vibration of the strings. That's something he'll get used to receive the terra feline as a magic initiation gift. Even princes might find such a lavish admission gift hard to come by. This makes him happy to hear. She clarifies that with a size like that, it's probably worth at least 2 whole castles, which is so like Folivia. This shocks him greatly. We see that he's also wearing the tiny crystals in an earring fashion. He asks her if she's sure that these small things are worth 2 castles, which she asks him what he means small. It's not easy to find a raw stone of feline tear of this size. He realizes that his family is way more wealthier than he thought. She remarks that he must be shocked, because he didn't know how valuable they really are. Well, that's understandable. It's the most expensive gem in the world. This makes him think to himself, the most expensive gem in the world is buried deep inside the mansion, piling up to a mountain. She then tells him that they should get back to discussing magic. He may be disappointed with the shape he's made, but his magic has actually succeeded wonderfully. The essence of ice magic is not the ice itself, but coldness. As she says this, she demonstrates. She tells him that using the surrounding water is nothing to be ashamed of. It's what mages do. We see that there's a lot of broken cups that were filled with water and used. She continues saying at the beginner level, since he can't create negative energy, he need to manipulate the surrounding environment with his magic to create a sub-zero space. Thus, at the beginner level, only those who can control the surrounding environment can truly succeed in ice magic. She shows demonstrations as she talks, making a piece of ice. That's why the academic circle regards those who have mastered ice magic to have graduated from the basics of magic, and agrees to call them mages. She turns the piece of ice into an ice flower and gives to him, congratulating him on him officially becoming a mage. We then see them inside. She tells him that there's only 2 days left. For someone so confident in their wager, the timing was quite tight. But over this time, only they know how much happened and how many impossibilities he has overcome. He may think he's merely been taught by her, but this past month she's learned a lot from him as well. She hopes that these days continue even at the magic school. She hands him some documents telling him to take it. It's the recommendation letter and certificate she promised. As he takes it, he gets teary. She tells him that she's sure he'll do well on the entrance exam. He starts to get even more teary-eyed. He thanks her over and over, and she holds him and tells him not to cry. The real beginning of magic starts now, she tells him while laughing freakishly. This confuses him greatly. He then goes to Adir to inform him of the good news. As Adir holds the documents in his hands, he say that it's amazing to become a mage in just 1 month, especially with the handicap of just having 1 string. Had it been someone else, he, Adir, wouldn't have believed it even if he saw it with his own eyes. Eugene laughs and tells him not to praise him too much. In the end, him, Eugene, is just now standing in the same place as the others. The real start is from now. Adir tells him that he's mature as always, which makes him remember Estine teaching him that magic is a study with a beginning but no end. From a prospective student to a graduate, he should keep pushing through. He had to study endlessly. He then starts shaking while telling Adir that he's serious when he said it's just the beginning, which confuses Adir. Eugene then calls to him with a sad expression, asking if he's really heading back to the capital already, which Adir confirms that it just turned out that way. He's received a message from the capital that he has patients piling up, so he must return earlier. Still, he was fortunate to see Eugene become a mage before leaving. Eugene sadly says, "Yeah, Adir," then ask him why the long face. "Are you sad because your uncle is leaving?" he asked, which Eugene gives him a stern no, making him spit out the tea he was drinking from shock. He clenches his chest from the emotional pain, unable to hold the now cracked cup from spilling the tea. "I thought as much." His voice trembled. "You're not a 7-year-old kid anymore, and you're past the age to miss your uncle." He tries to keep a smile on his face. Eugene informs him that he himself will go to the capital, confusing Adir. With a bright smile, he say he'll enter magic school and go to the capital, so they can meet any time there. Adir smiles and say that really would be like a dream come true. As Eugene was about to say it's not a dream, Tyre bursted in, shouting for him. Eugene worriedly asks him what's going on, which he's told it's a disaster. The Countess is on her way back here, surprising Eugene. His face brightens as he's unable to believe that his mother is coming back. While Adir gets overwhelmed with fear. Scotty is, he thinks. Eugene exclaims that she definitely said, "If you're all better, come on all fours." What could this be about? Adir gets confused hearing Eugene say that while Tyre confirms that he's not sure, maybe just another one of her whims. Eugene replied asking why does he look so terrified, as if a demon had invaded, which Tyre tells him that it's because the Countess is scarier than any demon. All while they talked, Adir remained quiet. He then makes an angrily annoyed expression. The scene then changes to a place with a lot of people placed on crosses. Someone says that this situation is unexpected. They never expected Adir would be the one to call them together. We see a beautiful lady in green and black clothes. Her clothes bears resemblance to that of a witch. Majority of her face is covered. The downfall of Falivia. Wasn't it something you wanted to accomplish with your very own hands? She asked. Have you experienced some change of heart? Adir tells her that there's been no change of heart. Only the circumstances have changed. A very hideous thing that shapes like a person joins the conversation. Circumstances began to shift the moment you killed the king. Are you aware of the immense efforts it took to sacrifice thousands of people without Falivia's eyes noticing? Adir refutes, saying a king is nothing more than a festering corpse over the span of eons. Such trivialities aren't even worth his time to explain. It then got agitated and shouted, "Such triviality! The fact that you killed the king is also being watched by the prophet." We see that the witch-like lady gets off her seat, which is a huge person. Adir tells it to cut out all the noise, which it calls him an irreverent man. Adir then informs them that Skady, Eugene's mom, is coming, which sends shivers down their spines here. But the last known sighting of that woman was in the Southern Isles. How did she get here? The human-shaped creature said. Adir replied, saying he doesn't know. Perhaps she crossed the sea. It wouldn't surprise him. What really matters is that she's on her way. If they are to settle the score before the promised day the prophet spoke of, they can't afford to wait idly for Skady to come and go at her leisure. The witch-like lady now understands why he gathered them. She asks if he's planning to assassinate Skady. If so, she'll welcome the opportunity. She's been wanting to kill another great hero anyway. Adir tells her that she's wrong. He has no intention of making foolish gamble of possibly getting 2 or 3 killed just for the sake of killing one. They will avoid Skady and launch a surprise attack to destroy the Terra Phelan. That's all that needs to be known. Everything else is prepared according to plan. Only the execution remains. The human-shaped creature exclaims that this means that the promised day is finally near, while the witch-like lady asks when's the execution, which they are told that it's tomorrow night. The scene then changes to Eugene standing with a confused expression, uttering the word war in confusion. We see that everybody is in a state of worry and haste. Tyre hurrying to put the fragile items in storage and displayed weapons to the training grounds. While Jin helps him, Eugene stands amidst the chaos. I see a war has broken out, he says to himself. He then asks Tyre what's going on. Why is everyone so frantic? Are they being invaded by the monsters or something? Which Tyre responds asking if he really needs to ask. It's worse than monsters. The Countess is coming. Eugene is shocked that all this is happening just because of his mother. He then tells Tyre that he knows his mother is a bit extreme, but this is surely an overreaction. Tyre then asks him if that's really why he came. Just to ask this. He's holding up someone who's busy. Eugene then say he came to ask something else as well. Where did Adir go? His room was empty when he checked, and he wouldn't leave without saying goodbye, which Tyre just nonchalantly blurted out that he was exiled so there wasn't time for goodbye. His voice lowers as reality of what he just let loose sink in. Exiled, Eugene said with an confused yet empty expression of disbelief. This makes Tyre drop what he was holding. He covered his mouth trying to explain, but nothing seemed right. He can only tell Eugene that it was just a slip of the tongue. Realization hits Eugene that he didn't return because patience was piling up, but because he was exiled.